Dear white people, oh, you know you are in for a treat when you hear that opening to anything, especially a nice long X thread as well. As whilst this will be a little bit outside of the usual wheelhouse of entertainment, games and movies and so on that I normally hang out about in, I believe this will be a worthwhile deviation, as I often say that no one today is half as racist as a leftist. And whilst there is ample evidence of that out and about in the wilds, I feel as if Representative Jamaal Bowman here has given us another excellent point with which to further illuminate the problem. See, you would think that the left, being vehemently anti-racist, would quite fundamentally inoculate them against racism, surely. I mean, if you're surrounded all day by people who hate racism, then how can you be a racist amongst them? If you do anything racist, they'll just call you out for it, right? So how can leftists be racists? It makes no sense. How do we square this circle? Well, by pointing out that anti-racist does not mean quite what the left wants you to think it means, because it sounds like a good term. Of course we want to be anti-racist. Nobody likes racism. Well, as Ibram X. Kendi said in How to Be an Anti-Racist, the only remedy to racist discrimination is anti-racist discrimination. The only remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination. Now, this goes on for a little bit here, but basically, the entire idea is that since black people were discriminated against in the past, they must now discriminate against white people so as to be finally equal. In other words, the solution to racism is more racism. Yeah, I'm sure that'll work out just fine. I am certain that will not engender any sort of resentment that might bubble around for a couple hundred years. Ibram X. Kendi. Certainly not. Surely not. Why would someone possibly object to being victimized for actions that they had no part in, that they had no agency in acting out, and hell, whose parents didn't even partake in? I wonder why. Anyways, Representative Jamaal Bowman here has a rather colourful history himself, actually. So he at one point stated that standardized testing is a form of modern-day slavery. Again, very much so on the Ibram X. Kendi train, that black people have been historically disadvantaged, and therefore giving them the same test along the same lines as everybody, you know, actual equality, is racist, and in this case, slavery. He also is apparently an avid enthusiast of conspiracy theories, which, hey, aren't we all? And he's one of very few defenders of TikTok. I feel like somebody really should be looking into where his funding is coming from right now. So, you're telling me this is a guy who likes conspiracy theories, pushing the wokest woke nonsense you can find, continues to up the ante on the racial tension in America, and really likes Chinese corporations? I'm not insinuating anything here, but again, somebody should really check his checkbook. He's also, of course, claimed that the move against TikTok is racist. That reminds me a lot of, what was it, Hug a Chinese Day shortly before COVID? And he was also the guy who pulled the fire alarm, by the way, to try and delay a spending bill in the House. There we go. Yeah, so he was also dethroned, by the way. He was unelected this year, I believe, by this bright-eyed and bushy-tailed gentleman right here. So, let's have a little bit of a read, shall we? I don't know why I feel the need to keep talking to you. I don't know why part of me still has hope for you and for us. Some of you are too far gone. It's always good when you begin with, hello, race. I don't know why I talked to you. Some of you are clearly too far gone, but I hope you will just submit to me, I guess. But maybe enough of you aren't and will join us in the fight to end white supremacy. I just want to call out the hypocritic and evil of it all and just continue to hope. I won't really rely completely on you, because I know what's most important is to work with my community and other my like-minded allies in the fight for justice. But I'll just offer this. I am 48 years old, and I've seen countless incidents of brutal police violence and killings in my lifetime. The first black man I saw violently attacked on camera was Rodney King. Those officers were acquitted. Community note. As he goes on to, go on at length and mention things that has happened in America that he views as racial hate crimes, in essence. And he asks a very interesting little question here. I've left out probably another 100 instances of this trauma in my life. For comparison, I ask white people, how many times have you seen a white man killed in cold blood on camera on your newsfeed? How many times have you even heard of this? The answer is never. You never have. And whenever you feel discomfort from your whiteness, black people are harmed or killed, and there is never accountability or justice. This is the evil of white supremacy. It spans across geography and political parties and sickens us all. Now, of course, this is simply not true, but it just demonstrates the racism of the left. As this guy here is like, there is never justice, never. America's a white supremacist society. They are killing black people with complete impunity, and no white people ever dies. They're never brought up. It never becomes a trauma. Well, okay, let's have a quick look at that, shall we? Because I know it's bullshit. You all know it's bullshit. Literally, he himself probably you would think, knows it's bullshit. I mean, he used to be a representative for New York. The murder rates there are something to behold, but okay. Murder victims in the United States, 2023, by race. Now, this is where I will say he has a point. There are a lot of black people being murdered, a disproportionately high amount as they only make up 14% of the population. But right behind them are indeed whites, 7,289. I remind you, apparently white people are never murdered. It doesn't happen. It's simply just not a thing. How many times have you seen a white man killed in cold blood on camera in your newsfeed? The answer is never. You never have. It never happens. Okay, so why could that be? Well, one of the things is if we look at the violence based on victimization as well, we see something interesting going on here. Blacks. So who is killing this huge number of black people? Oh. Now this is violent crimes in general, mind you, so take that into consideration, but that is an overwhelmingly large percentage, isn't it? That's a downright astounding percentage. You know, they're still harsher for white people, but still, that is pretty goddamn ridiculous, isn't it? So, what can we tell from this? Well, this is where Representative Jamal falls over his own racism quite heavily here. The reason why you never see or hear about white people dying, despite them dying at a greater number, is simply because nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. It's not news. It can't be used for anything. It can't be used to stoke up support amongst your community. It cannot be used to engender sympathy for you as a victim. Nobody cares about another dead white guy. Simple as. And that is the system of white supremacy, is it? That's the thing. It is only news when it can be used, and it is used by people like this to claim, we live in a white supremacist system. We need more. We have to discriminate against white people because of my trauma. I have the feeling that we need to be more discriminatory, as again, Ibram X. Kendi said. We need special privileges. And that, of course, is exactly why you never hear about the dead white guy, because he is not a protected class. Representative Jamaal Bowman is, doubly and triply so. He is a politician. He is a black man who then relies on racial prejudice to get himself elected as well, and then goes on to write tirades like this, yet again going, I have trauma. You need to support me. Hey, white people, as a general class, why am I even bother talking to you? But come on now, you need to join me against white supremacy. The white supremacy that kills its own people, apparently, at quite an astonishing rate. I mean, hell, if that's the definition. He goes on, I wish I didn't have to live with all of this trauma deep in my bones. Just to hammer home the victimization. I wish I could just be free to be me. I marvel at the beauty and greatness of my people in spite of white supremacy. It is extraordinary. That is what I will continue to lean on. This is a beautiful explanation, demonstration, as I scared myself by hitting the space bar, of the blindness of racism on the left. Because the left is not anti-racist as in colorblind or egalitarian. It is anti-racist as in the definition of the anti-racists themselves, as in actively discriminatory against those who are not part of the preferred and thus in turn protected classes. Those who cannot complain about stuff like this. Those who cannot use this as an argument for sympathy or to be elected into high office. That is the racism that the left is blind to because it has grown entirely dependent upon it as a tool of its politics. It is the reason why they can get away with, stuff like this. It's the reason why they can get away with absurd statements like testing on an equal level is slavery, for example. They are simply not even aware of what they are doing at this point. Well, that is the positive interpretation, and the other one is, of course, that he is just simply actively an anti-white black supremacist. And that is no better than being a white supremacist. We had, in essence, arrived at the solution to racism in the 2000s. Color blindness is the solution. Equality of treatment is the solution. Not equality of outcome, but simply providing everyone with the same opportunities to succeed. To, become a congressman of the United States of America, for example. I don't know. I'd say that's a decent level of success myself, particularly considering one's actions as well. And that is why I say, and will continue to say, that there is no group of people on this good green earth of ours quite so racist as a leftist. Till next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.